Within the banking space, there is a digital arms race taking place where the largest banks and some of the more specialized, most profitable banks are very far ahead in their digital transformation. And the small and medium-sized banks are at a disadvantage. They haven't raised hundreds of millions of dollars in venture capital to fund their development. They don't have the balance sheet and the tech teams, the incubators, things like that the larger players have. But by working together, they can be both more efficient and more effective in what they do. So it really starts with knowledge sharing. And then most importantly, they roll up their sleeves and work together. And we'd see a huge benefit from the network effect on working together to solve their problems. Everything from mapping customer journeys, gaining customer insights, to partnering with earlier stage companies, including we've even begun making strategic investments as a group in some of these partners.
And on the topic of digital transformation a bit broadly, how has the sector changed in recent years in your experience, and how has that shaped your own digital strategy?
For a long time, digital was considered an adjunct or even a separate channel. And I think what we've seen, especially driven by the pandemic, that digital actually crosses all of your channels. The first waves of digital transformation were really about the user interface. And we're entering now the second wave of transformation, which is it's actually beginning to transform the back office. We're seeing better utilization of data, automation, even artificial intelligence is actually production ready and being used quite extensively. When we talk about innovation at that next layer, it's going to be completely transformative. And the next thing that's going to happen is actually we're going to see it begin to really impact the business models and the way financial services are delivered.
Speaking about your relationship with Quantic Bank, now Patrick Sells over there had some great things to say about Alloy, and I'd like to hear about your perspective as well. So could you please expand on the services you offer and what benefits they gain from working with you?
We're really not a service provider so much as we are the facilitator of banks working, side by side with each other. And Quantic has been great. They're one of the banks that jumped right in with both feet, rolled up their sleeve and said, hey, we're really interested in partnering with others, learning from others, contributing the knowledge, that we have in our experiences. And right off the bat, they jumped into a group around digital account opening. We partnered with an early stage company that isn't public yet in terms of who it is, but we were able to transform the way a lot of these banks were looking at digital account opening. And it started with a customer insight. And that's really where Alloy Labs comes in to start with, is not about meeting better vendors or more startups, but really starting with learning from each other on what is the insight that we're solving for. And then let's go actually very quickly boil the ocean of all of the potential providers, who has experience with them, who are, the up and comers that, haven't made it on any of the reports yet. CB Insights doesn't even know about them. Should we be considering them? And then by adopting it together, we actually establish best practices. So it's not about just, getting the technology, it's how we use the technology.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Was there anything else you wanted to tell me or say or ask before we end the call?
Well, we're big believers in the power of community banks. The necessity of the banks coming to the aid of Main Street, was really driven by community banks. And so we're really thankful that we have banks like Quantic and the other members of Alloy Labs that are committed to reinventing the way banking works. And we think that is really good for mainstream America and the broader world.